Goodbye to Rosie, the Queen of Corona. Hopefully that's a song we'll all be singing soon. I hope everybody out there is doing well in your self-imposed staycation. I hope you're all doing fantastic, as a matter of fact. I have been working on a few projects to try to stay sane. Number one, the Grow a Neck Beard project. I've also lost a little bit of weight, gotten a tan, done some stuff around the house, done a lot of yard work, and tinkered on a few of my projects. But you know what? There were also a lot of days where I said, you know what? I just don't feel like being productive today. And that's okay too. So, but that's not really something interesting to post a video about, so you'll forgive me if I talk about things that I did do. Last time I talked about my Ghost Strap project, I had gotten these two circular knobs from GBHQ Parts Depot on Etsy. Also got some of the little square knobs that go beside of them. Haven't yet figured out how to affix those. Glenn Frederick was the one that told me about the Parts Depot and also provided some of the other knobs that are in this bag. And afterwards, I went looking on their store for other things, and I noticed that they had, where they listed the teardrop knob, it came with a skirt. Now, skirt may or may not be the correct term to use because I've heard differing things about this, but on their site, when you bought them, the skirt was included in the price. Well, I had a bunch of knobs. I had the knob and the skirt that came with the trap when I got it from Patrick that were made out of resin. I had replaced the knob with a real teardrop knob. Matter of fact, I've gone through quite a few of these to get one that I liked. The one that's got the white stripe is on there now. This is one without a white stripe. This is one that's actually taller. And then the very first two teardrops that I ever bought, boo-hoo, were way too big. So let's look at those compared to these. Yeah, you can see that's really oversized. Maybe I should build an oversized trap for some reason. I don't know why I would, but. So some folks say that if you get this style of teardrop knob that has more material down here, that is technically the skirted piece that the suppliers list sometimes. So that might be the skirt there. But anyway, for the purposes of this video, we're gonna talk about these kind of skirts. So I had replaced the knob. The skirt still looked okay-ish to my eyes, but I had looked into getting some of these. If you bought them from a website that had them, you bought them, I think, by the 100. I didn't need that many. And a guy in England had bought some. He had plenty left over, and we looked into getting some from him to me, but the shipping was kind of ridiculous. So when I found them on GBHQ Parts Depot on Etsy, I contacted them and said, hey, I don't need the teardrop. I've got tons of those. Is there any way to get just the skirt? And they said, how many do you need? I said, I don't know, maybe 3 at the most. And they said, yeah, $3.50 shipping, and we will just send them to you. So all I paid was $3.50 to get 3 of these things. So yay, thank you very much for working with me. Let's do a comparison really quick. You can see that the sides of the resin copy are sloped, and the sides of the one that came from GBHQ Parts Depot look like a little tiny Buster Keaton hat. So it's sort of stepped on this one and sloped on this one. The underside of this is solid. The underside of this is hollow. And diameter-wise, the resin one is slightly larger than the one that's real. And I just like the sheen of this one, the way it picks up the light, as opposed to the rather matte finish that was on this one when I painted it. So another way that I have attempted to upgrade my trap at the moment has to do with the pedal. Now, the pedal is partially disassembled at the moment, as you can tell. And I had messed up the rub-down transfer. I was planning to replace it with another rub-down transfer, and I thought, well, it took me so long to get a decent coat of black paint on this with that semi-flat black that I kept buying all that summer and afterwards, and then I had to track some down at a store. Big ordeal to match that paint, when ironically I painted every single thing on this trap, and I could have picked any color of black that I wanted. I didn't have to match it to the coat that Patrick had on there to begin with at this $7.49 a can pop. But to replace this piece, I either was going to have to strip all the paint off, repaint it, it's going to take so long to do, and put another rub down on, or I could take one of my other Hammond metal project boxes and re-drill all the screw holes into it and paint it and then put a new rub down on it and have both of them as, you know, like a backup, you know, or a conversation piece, really. And then one of the other Hammond metal boxes that I had was the one that was painted black at the factory, but you could tell under the shrink wrap that it was a very bumpy powder coat. So I finally decided I'm going to use that one. I'm going to attempt to see if I can wet sand that and make it smooth. And not only did I get it smooth as glass, I never went through the black paint. It's still the factory applied powder coat. It's just flat now. So that's an option if you guys want to do that. I think maybe one little nick right there on that door. I got through to the bare metal, but everything else is factory applied, and I can still put a coat of semi-flat black on it. Even if that gets a ding or a scratch, technically it'll be black underneath it and not bare metal underneath it. So this is the one that I then decided to replicate the positioning of all the holes on there that I had done to the first one. So they're all in approximately the exact same locations to attach all the hardware on there. And then I had a thought about something else trap related. Have you guys been to Walmart and seen this little beauty? $20 at Walmart for one of these. It's actually $10 less than the Spirit version, which is obviously what it was a couple of years ago. But it now comes with a pedal to activate the doors and the lights and the sound and everything. So the pedal is kind of hidden from view. A lot of folks are complaining that theirs are not working in the stores, so they didn't buy them. Or the doors were messed up in the stores, so they didn't buy one. Both of these are really simple fixes. This one sat on local store shelf for a couple of days. Nobody bought it, and then I finally said, you know what, I'm gonna pick that one up and maybe do something with it. So it's very easy to get into the box of these, even if the plastic is messed up like on this one. There's no tape or anything, which kind of concerns me. But anyway, I just want to slide it out of the box. I've also seen reports, one or two folks saying that they got one that didn't have wheels on it. So you might want to, you know, kind of glance in there in the store and see if the ones you're looking at actually have the wheels. But the part about the batteries not working is the easy fix to get everything to function again. So right here you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fake screws on the side of that piece right there. But the 7th one is actually practical. Where did my screwdriver go? And that's how you get to the battery compartment. So go ahead and take this little guy out of here, and we will take out the factory installed batteries and put in some fresh. Now the really weird thing is, after finding out that these all needed to be replaced, I went and checked on my Spirit trap, which was still in the box from, what was it, 2018 when those came out? 2019? I think it was 2018. And Nikon Alkaline. Don't buy these for anything you need to use, because these are the factory installed batteries in these Walmart ghost traps, and they don't do nothing. But the batteries in the Spirit trap, hey, 2 years old, those still worked. I don't know. All right, fresh batteries in, and then I won't bother putting the battery cover back on there at the moment. Now, let's check and see. Lights work, sound works, motor works. The only thing is those doors still aren't quite going where they're supposed to be. And this is a really simple fix too. So what you're gonna wanna do, and I've seen a couple of people talk about ways that they've approached this. Some folks use a screwdriver down here where these cogs are, and some folks do other things. The one that I thought was the simplest and probably the easiest for everybody to be able to, because it requires no tools, is to simply remove the doors. They are very flexible plastic. I won't say very, they are flexible. You can flex them. And you want to kind of bow them in the center and just pop them out at one end and pop them out at the other. See, they got teeth at that end right there. Can you see that? And those teeth correspond to these teeth on this white cog right there. So pop out both of the doors, and then when you put them back in, you want to try to get them in there as flat as possible. So just lay it down so that those teeth go right into that white cog, and then you want to put this end in as well. Boom. Done on that side. And again, you got to kind of bow it. Don't forget to bow it slightly to get that part into this opening right here. Boom. Doors are flat. Doors work. How hard was that? Look on the running time of this YouTube video and tell me how much time it took me to fix that problem. Not a lot of time, no tools involved. The other thing is about this toy is the pedal that it comes with is obviously not exactly movie accurate to the pedals seen on the movie prop, but that led me to another idea because I'd bought this, I'd fixed this, and I was thinking about that pedal. And then it sort of ran through my head. Wait a second. After I replace the metal Hammond box on the pedal, I'll have a metal Hammond box with a rub down already applied that I could put right there on the side. Well, hang on a second, because I've got the plastic Hammond box, a spare. I had bought this from GB Fans in 2011, and then when I bought the trap from Patrick, it came with one. Well, guess what? I've got another octal socket and ITT relay. I've got most of the parts to put the surroundings to this to make it look more movie accurate. And I'm kind of intrigued now to do this. I mean, the more I thought of it, the more I started going through boxes, the more I found a backup piece of everything. Here's the little brass pieces. There's a spare. There's a spare of that one. What about the plug that goes on the front of the metal box? Well, yeah, I have a spare set of those. A lot of this stuff came with the one I got from Patrick. So yeah, that's my another thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish working on this trap and repairing its pedal, but then I'm gonna fashion a plate to go under here and then screw on these parts and make the pedal that comes with the Wal-Mart trap look slightly more movie accurate. So thank you for watching and stay tuned.